Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel, Art of Testing. I am Rohit Agrawal, and today we'll be starting another session in our success stories where we have with us Ms. Priyanka, who has 4 years of experience and 3+ years of experience as a corporate trainer. She is well-known name in the world of corporates as a Selenium trainer, and she has seen people or QA evolve as a manual engineers to automation engineers. I'll let Priyanka introduce herself, and it's pleasure to have you with us, Priyanka.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you for having me here. So, hello everyone. I'm Priyanka Arora. I'm founder of Engineer Diaries. I'm working as 3 years plus as an automation trainer, and in total 4 year plus in the industry. I started as a web developer. In fact, I used to work as a freelancer for QA. Then slowly started using more tools, and then I moved into automation. And now I work as a full-fledged corporate trainer. I train from freshers to experienced people. I've trained in my journey, I've trained more than 700, 800 people. So I work privately also and collaborate with companies also. Thank you so much for having me, Rohit, here.
Welcome, Priyanka. So this will help our viewers actually to understand what are the expectations from a QA engineer. It can be a manual QA engineer, and then when you advance yourself to automation engineer, then what are the expectations that would be there from you while you work in the corporate world? And no one else can tell you that better than a corporate trainer herself. So, Priyanka, in your training career, how have you seen the QA role evolve or the expectations changing from a QA engineer? Now, when I say QA engineer, it could be a manual QA engineer or an automation QA engineer.
Right. That's a very well asked question, Rohit, because it has actually changed a lot. Even during my course, I have seen a lot of changes happening. Every day, new things are happening. First of all, I want to address that even today, even if a fresher come up to me for training or somebody who is migrating from any other domain and want to come into IT as a QA person, as coming into manual, even for manual automation, there is a requirement for knowledge of automation. Then as a manual tester job, there is a requirement that they need to know coding, right? So now as a fresher in like 2022, even the batches I have taken, any batch, any person who is coming into IT industry, they need to know coding, even in manual job. There is a huge impact of Selenium. Now Selenium 4 is in the market, which is booming. Even if people are applying for Selenium job, they should be knowing manual testing, they should be knowing database also, they should be knowing Selenium, and they need to have a knowledge of API testing. So even as they are applying for web automation, if they are applying for even mobile automation, not just APM knowledge, they need to know about Selenium and also API testing. So you need to have the whole package. I want to stress one more thing, that nowadays you need to have a knowledge of frameworks as well, and a knowledge of DevOps like Git, Jenkins, TestNG, this entire package, how to create a framework. Even if you are applying for a Selenium job, all of this, the entire skill set which I mentioned, which I'm repeating for you, from manual testing, knowledge of Jira, or how to use Jira, X-rays in Jira, then SQL for database, Selenium, now Selenium 4, API testing knowledge, how APIs work, then knowledge of framework, how to make a framework, TestNG, Maven, Auto IT tools. This entire skill set, they need to have this knowledge, and then you can apply for a job as an automation trainer or automation engineer. And in the case of manual also, in that also you need to have coding language, basics of coding language all clear for you. Even if you are applying for manual tester job as a fresher, there is a requirement for automation, right? And there is a booming industry for both API and Selenium both. The only thing is that it kind of, even if you know Selenium, they are asking for API testing, and even if you are applying for API testing, they are asking for Selenium. So you need to have both of the knowledge. So that's how the industry is currently working.
So, Priyanka, tell us about your corporate training experience. So, which companies you have been to, and what kind of trainings that you would have performed there?
Right. So I have my own company, First Engineer Diaries. So I train corporates on weekend batches and weekday in the evening. So there are people from all over the country. Even I have trained people outside India, from USA, from Canada, um, from all the companies, all the service-based company we know, Wipro, Infosys, TCS, Accenture, people from Swiggy, Google. Yes, Google also, SDET profiles I have taught. Um, so, and as a corporate trainer, I have worked with OWIT Globals. I have 3, 4 or more companies lined up, which till I'm not taught, I can tell. But currently, for last 6 months, I worked with Capgemini. I trained their freshers, and last 2 months, I've been working with Wipro and training their freshers on web technologies, database, Selenium, Java, and Java Advanced and Angular topics also.
How was your experience training students from outside India, and how did they approach you?
Right. The approach has been like through LinkedIn mostly, because of word of mouth. Actually, to be very honest, the people who come and take training, I run actually 100% placement batches. No exaggeration here. And it has taken a lot of work from me to reach this stage that every person I have is now placed in whichever batch they joined me. I run 1 month courses. So the problem that happens with people outside India and USA is the shift problem they have.
Okay.
Because obviously I'm teaching in the day and they have a night there. So, but my entire sessions are recorded, and I ask them to take doubts, and they can connect with me separately in the evening. So that is how they are managing it, and they also have got benefited. They are also successfully placed.
Nice. Okay. So, do you see any difference in the training requirements when companies like service-based companies or product-based companies, any specifications or any exact requirement that is put forward to you from those companies while you train QAs and automation test engineers?
Right. I want to tell Rohit, this is a very good question first, because there is a difference as you are applying for a service-based company versus a product-based company. So to understand the difference, let's understand like what service-based company expect out of you. So we are Capgemini, Wipro, Infosys, TCS. They have multiple projects, right? So you, as in, even you are SDET profile, right? You are in automation profile, right? So your job would be 70% manual and 30% automation.
Oh, okay.
Right? There would be few test cases you want to automate, and that could be reusable.
Okay.
Right? Because they have lot of projects. You are a resource, right? And they want to automate that. So most of the work you would be doing is manual, and even if you apply for SDET profile, they would ask you like few Java questions and few framework questions. Have you created a framework? Okay, tell me this Selenium implicit, explicit way. Like no, anybody beginner also could qualify, but they more stresses on your manual experience, because like I've been teaching manual for a long time, and the concepts in manual are limited. We all know that smoke testing, sanity testing, alpha beta testing, right? Acceptance testing, like this, we all know these concepts. But in manual testing, the most important asset is experience. The people who are working for 14 years in insurance domain. So in my sessions, we have a long talks and long discussions on the test cases on just they are working for, imagine somebody working for 14 years in just automating or finding or test cases or making sure the product is of high quality of only insurance or banking domain. The amount of experience that person has, the amount of depth and the amount of the tricks he here and there have are incredible. Okay. We have those long discussions. The product-based companies, now let's just imagine I have taught people who are now working on Swiggy also. Okay. So, right, Swiggy is a product-based company. So here the emphasis is that any small change that is coming, any small change is going to have a huge impact. So there, the test cases, you can't depend on the experience of a manual tester. They want to write test cases. Here, about 80% of stress is on automation, 20% manual. Even manual, if you don't know that much, like people who are working as a software engineer, they migrate into SDET profile, right? As a software engineer, because there is more knowledge required for coding.
True.
right? So in product-based company, the more impact is on coding and automation. So their automation is more centric. So that is the difference that we observe, and that is how we approach things. I usually tell people who wants to go to SDT profiles in Swiggy or any other Zomato or any other company, that Paytm, that first get good hands-on experience in any service-based company. At least like 2-3 years experience, then you would also feel at ease. Otherwise, immediately jumping, you would be in a panic zone, like because the environment is strict, because any small work, anything that has been left by you is going to cost millions of dollars to the company. So there's a lot of impact. So yeah.
Thanks a lot, Priyanka. So that brings a lot of clarity to our viewers. Basically, there are viewers who are basically from the QA profile, manual QA profile, and they also are in service-based or product-based companies. So now they have a clear understanding and idea as to what is their preparation route when they are preparing for companies, product-based companies like Swiggy, Zomato, Amazon, or be it any other product-based companies. So one interesting question, Priyanka. So like in testing, we have a lot of tools and a lot of technologies out there, right? So why specifically you chose Selenium? Anything that influenced you to have Selenium as the core thing in your training career?
Yeah, it's actually Selenium actually happened as an accident to me. Like I was working in my college time as a freelancer. I was working, and as a software engineer, I was working. There was a requirement that we needed to test some links if they are working or not.
Okay.
And I found it a good test case scenario, and we automated using Java.net and everything. And during that process, there was a requirement that, I went into and see that is automation possible, then I was introduced to Selenium at that moment. I was just introduced. And as I got fascinated by it. I want to share some incidents that I tried to automate some websites. So the things we see, a bot is there writing comments and all of this.
True.
How do you think those bots work? Nowadays, a lot of security enhancement has come up, but these bots actually are written in Selenium. Right. So I got fascinated and I started using it. I started enjoying it, writing automation and all of this. Then on my own website, Engineer Diaries, I started blogging, writing codes, and I just shared it just to share knowledge and all of that. And even in the place I was working, I used to teach my people around me who were not junior, who were senior to me. I was handling that project, so I taught them Selenium there. So teaching, and then Selenium, and then I started got an opportunity to teach. There were the people, they wanted to learn Selenium. Then I made an entire course on it. Okay. It's about 3 years back. Then those are the batches which I started running. So Selenium came as an accident. Then I actually saw that anywhere I used to hear the word Selenium a lot. You go to LinkedIn, you hear Selenium all the time. So once you hear something all the time, like there was a time I was fascinated by data analyst, machine learning, artificial intelligence. Once you hear all of this artificial intelligence, you used to see like what is happening. Then you understand these are data models and everything. So those fascination led to me, and my just love for teaching paved this path.
Thanks, Priyanka. So a curious question that would be there in the minds of all the QA or automation engineers who are not yet used to Selenium. So if a person who is already into QA profile for some time, be it manual or automation, so they would think that if they learn Selenium, what would be the benefit that they would achieve? So if you say a person who does not know Selenium to a person who is aware and a pro in Selenium, what is the expectations in respect to their career growth, pay package, and the opportunities in good companies?
Right. Yeah, that is a very important question, Rohit. Thank you for bringing it up. So I have people, very honest conversations I have with people working for 14 years in manual testing, 16 years, and they feel low in confidence. Okay. Because industry is moving at a very fast pace, we have to accept it. Every new person who is coming up is coming on the basis of skill set. Even Infosys asks you in the resume what projects you have done, right? Or any other service-based company. So you have to move with time. and Selenium is everywhere. Selenium would help you to skill yourself, get into the market, because there is a whole discussion I had in my session, which a brief of which I want to share is that that as a manual tester, right, you are more dependent on a company, right? What products company is bringing to you, what products they are making, they are bringing to you, the websites, the applications, right? And you are the resource here, right? But you are more dependent on the company basically, because the company is keeping you. It is kind of like that, right? But as you upskill yourself, right, like people who want to even migrate to, they are scared, like in 14 years what should they mention, like what they have done. They are working on the same projects, like they feel very stagnant. Once you upgrade yourself, you have a skill set in your resume, and now you can apply that I have the skill set. Whatever product you have, I can add my value to it. It has become other way around.
Okay.
Right? I hope you are getting it. That I had a lot of discussion like with people that they feel really stagnant and demotivated and just things. So it is very important that we don't have to just keep up with time. We have to enjoy the process we do.
True.
And otherwise, it's like you won't be excited to wake up to, or for working anything which you're not excited for 8 to 10 hours is not possible. I can't work, or I have not seen any person who is achieving good is not excited about the work. Right? So keep up with time is very important. Selenium is an important tool set, because why Selenium is important is because any company, any startup which is going to come in the market, right? If I want to I started Engineer Diaries. The first thing I started is I made my own website.
True.
Which we all do. Even on WordPress or anything, you would make your own website. True. And as you would grow, you would require a team of testers to test the website. And the skill set they need to have is Selenium. True. Right? So Selenium is a very important skill set, not just to keep up in the market, to upgrade yourself, feel better, to come into track, to come into parallel with the new skill set everybody is coming up. So it is obviously important, and also it is not that very hard. I do agree, data structure, algorithm, and those tree graphs are a little harder. Here, very basics of programming language is required, which could be done in a week. Selenium itself, like I teach the entire course in a month, right? In weekend batches also, and in weekday batches. So it is not at all that hard. It is just a 1 month of dedication. It is easy to move. It is required. Plus, you feel better. You feel in a position that if you want to switch a company, you can switch, because now I have the skill set. I'm not dependent on the company. I have the skill set. I would be helping you with get your product better.
Yeah, true. That's very helpful, Priyanka. And with the current changing dynamics of the world around, and with COVID around, we all have seen how e-commerce have boomed. So more and more businesses are coming towards these platforms, and the way to launch e-commerce is through website and application. And I understand that Selenium would play a pivotal role when we test those websites or applications. So thanks a lot for that, Priyanka. Now, again, same question in that chain. So what are the requirements to learn Selenium? Can it be learned easily? And is it something that a non-technical person can also learn? So how do you suggest our viewers that how can they learn Selenium and become a pro in using Selenium?
Right. Another important question. Once you have the roadmap, you can easily achieve things, right? I would want to tell you that people usually go into the wrong zones altogether, and that is why they get here and there. So learning first of all, like we would all agree that whatever I am working on, you are working on, we have never known it. We have all learned it, right? And some amount of passion and dedication is required, and discipline. You have to have that. And learning everything is easy. It's a step-by-step process. If you follow the correct path, you won't be able to achieve. You go other way around the circles, you will never achieve it. So the requirement for Selenium is that you need to have basics of programming language clear with you. Selenium is there in Java. I teach Selenium in Java, C#, JavaScript, Python, because I'm teaching in all of them. I'm telling you that if you have basics of programming language setup, and even if you come from non-tech backgrounds, who have never done coding, right? So I have taught people coming from call centers, banking domains, because banking domains are not growing that much. They have a fixed salary of 45K per month
Uh-huh.
for 5-6 years, and they are like, they are feeling stagnant. Obviously, they are not getting hike in anything, right? So even the call center jobs are similar, BPO jobs. So moving into IT is very important, crucial, and good decision. Uh, can anybody learn coding? Anybody can code. This is the famous thing, and everybody should code. Even when I'm teaching something, my father is also nearby. So I tell him, I taught this. So my father also is like thinking, oh, you must have used this. And he comes from non-tech totally. So anybody can code, and coding is easy. Having a good trainer is important, because the thing is, if you go to any website like Tutorials Point, Geeks for Geeks, there's so much content, right? I could spend an entire year, like I myself would admit that in my college days, I spent 2 to 3 years to learn Java, because there was so much content on Geeks for Geeks site. I used to religiously follow it, and it was a wrong idea. Having a good mentor trainer is important, but otherwise you might waste a lot of time, but eventually you would also still learn it in a longer time. Like how I learned it, it took me longer, but those 3 years which I learned took to learn Java, now I teach everyone in 1 week, because I know this is not important, this is important, this much. So you need to have a good knowledge of programming basics, variables, loops. I still think that people are very much confused in else if, right?
Yeah.
If and else, like they need to have this understanding of loops, break statement, basics, arrays, get the programming concepts, inheritance, oops concept, everything correct in check. Um, like if you do yourself or from whatever course, no course is going to be that long. Otherwise, you are working with the wrong trainer and wrong people. To be very honest, they are just making money. Anything is, it is a defined course, very basics of programming and everything, max to max 1 month.
Okay.
Right, and there's no requirement to go into data structure and algorithms of, in depth. Not at all. We are not working for SDE profile. Not at all.
Yeah.
Learning Selenium, yeah, and then you can move on to Selenium. Selenium itself has very limited things. If I tell you Selenium, I could complete Selenium in 15-20 concepts.
Okay.
Right, and but the thing is that you need to go out there and automate the sites. You would then understand about weights, switch to dialog box, handling all of them. There are just 25 conditions which are there, how to handle these scenarios, and test on the live websites. Don't do theories, right? So just like in whatever medium you choose yourself, or by online medium or anything, choose smartly. Don't go through the entire content list. Choose smartly, and maybe if from very beginner, the coding could take a month, and Selenium also could take a month, right? But not more than that. But if it is still taking you a little time, then it's also okay. And it's all okay. Like you take 3 months, 4 months, it's okay. If you ask me, from like anything you can learn it. Like coding is 1 month, and Selenium is also 1 month. If you do a course of 1 month versus you do personally, yeah. But it is no, if you're asking me, is it hard? Not at all. It is not hard. You are not working for an SDE profile. SDE profile requires lot more knowledge, lot more things, lot more cases to handle. In SDET profile, there are limited things, and is it hard? No, not at all. But the choosing path is important. Correctly bifurcating it, smart work is important.
Thanks, Priyanka. I think this baselines the very much needed thing that many QA engineers or who are non-technical person have in their mind, is that coding is very difficult or automation is very difficult. So these lines, when they will hear from a career coach or a trainer who is into this world, they would understand that it's not that hard. It just needs that one step where you just go forward and start learning, and everything will become easy. It's not that hard to actually do automation learning Selenium. So Priyanka, like in the market, we have many companies who are offering their courses in Selenium, be it in-person classes or online classes. So how does Engineer Diaries stand out of this league? What is the TRP that brings more and more students to your training academy?
Right. I have seen many of the courses. I want to address many of them are teaching very good also. So many of them I know. I would also like some trainers I want to mention also, that Rahul Shetty, Rahul Arora, they are doing phenomenal work.
Okay.
What Engineer Diaries and I personally bring on to is that it's a live sessions we have. It's one-on-one conversation. My batch size are usually 10 to 15 people. Like I'm very strict about that, not too many people. I connect any doubt they have, they connect directly to me. My system is very transparent. The thing with others institute is that they hire a professional to train you who is working on part-time, right? And that person must be working 5 days in a week already, and in the weekend he was extremely tired. Is like, you need to understand that, somebody working as a part-time versus somebody who is teaching, who has already taught 700 people and is constantly passionate about it. So what I bring onto the table is the experience, hands-on experience training every day. I work with freshers to advanced to experienced people. Over the years, I have accumulated those experience on a daily basis. My own teaching level, teaching skills increases day by day. So what we bring is a freshness. We have more interactions. My sessions are very transparent. Like the people ask very genuine things, that very genuine things, like women who come from maternity break, or people who have 7 years of career break, right? They genuine conversation. Most of the time, I feel people are hesitant, holding themselves back, hesitant, heard lot of things. They have wasted lot of. I have heard people charging huge amount of money. My fees is the least. This is not, there's can't be a lesser fees than what I charge. My batch is 100% placed. You can check it on LinkedIn. I have like people follow me, and they always mention that that they achieve a lot of because of the course. So my biggest USP is that it is like a mentor, a guidance, and something I've been doing. I'm passionate about it, to be very honest. So that's the only difference I bring, that I'm passionate. I love what I do. I love enjoying doing that. I do that 7 days in a week. That is why I'm able to do it, because I enjoy doing that. And I love helping people, and I enjoy coding. So, and I learn and grow. So I'm not that, this is the program which we did 6 months back. Every day there is a new program, live classes, live sessions. And any doubt you have, my biggest USP is that any doubt you have, I'll answer it right then and there.
That's very kind of you, Priyanka, and I do hope that the students, their recommendations are what makes a trainer good, and like you have a good amount of students who have been placed, and 100% placement is itself speaks volumes about the credibility of the course and the training institution. So thanks a lot, Priyanka, for your time. This discussion has been very much helpful, especially for bringing insights into the role of Selenium in a QA's life, be it a manual QA or automation test engineer. What are the expectations that they would have, and how a new person who is not known to Selenium can actually start learning it and make it a career story which is successful and well known in the industry. Thanks a lot, Priyanka, for your time.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Thank you, Kuldeep, also. And your Art of Testing is doing an incredible work. I've been following them for a long time. I'm in touch with Kuldeep also for a very long time. So wish you all the best. Thank you so much for giving me the platform. I hope this discussion helps a lot of people, and they gain confidence, gain insight, and they push themselves. Thank you so much for your time, Rohit.
Thanks a lot for your kind words, Priyanka. Much appreciated.